$2.05 for the place. Gay Pixie has drawn the inside gate. Just waiting Spectacular Chance's rider to link up. They're set now, I think. One or two runners just a little on the move. So we're all but ready to go now. Gay Pixie drawn 1, Ocean Warrior, and 2, Lazy Lad, Jack of Argyle. They're racing now. And a West Runner on the outside made a good beginning, so too did Bob Dobolino. Getting through next on the inside is Regal Star in the white cap, made a good beginning also. Rosadair between those leading two. Our Pull is up at the leading division. That's followed then by Miss Morley, then followed on the inside Ocean Warrior and Gay Pixie. In that group also next then we've got Miss Morley was in that group, then followed back towards the midfield area. We've got one more jug on the outside of second edition. It's followed then by the next runner, West Runner. West Runner was being covered up on the outside of those runners next then by Nice Day. Nice Day was followed back towards the tail by First Dior on the outside. Next then we've got O'Melleton in that group also. Then was on the outside a little wider Spectacular Chance. Spectacular Chance was followed back towards the... Now one more jug's got right back towards the tail. Also back there is Noble Trelay. Back on the inside is Lazy Lad and also Icy Rain. Working their way up the rise, Bob Dobolino is the leader. Now stopping very quickly and going back right towards the tail of the field is Rosa Deer at that point. So down past the 400 they come. Ocean Warrior ranged up to Bob Dobolino. In behind those runners next then is Regal Star. Then followed back along the inside next then is Gay Pixie on the outside, second edition. Then further still back then we've got running on a little is O'Melleton. Down past the 200 Bob Dobolino is the leader. Regal Star getting through on its inside. Then followed back by Ocean Warrior. Regal Star got the upper hand with 100 to go. Regal Star from Bob Dobolino. Then came second edition is running into third, but Regal Star got the money. Bob Dobolino second edition. Then Ocean Warrior is followed back then by the next runner was West Runner. West Runner was followed back on the inside by First Dior. Melleton was wider out. Noble Trelay just beat that home in the green cap. Then one more jugger was handy early, drifted out to last and has run on again. Further back then to Lazy Lad. It's followed on the outside of those next then we had Spectacular Chance. Spectacular Chance in the red cap was followed further still back then by our Puller. On the outside of that was Icy Rain. It was followed back towards the tail of the field by Nice Day, and even further back Miss Morley. Also back towards the tail was the favourite Jack of Argyle, and the last runner in would be Rosadair.
Williams runners 1 and 3 in the third event. It was always going to be a pretty tough one to pick, with the favourite opening up paying $7. At this stage it's Bob Dobolino, the second favourite in front for Chris Johnson. Drifted off the rail just there, and shooting through along the fence was Ron McCann on number 14 Regal Star, a horse that's owned by Ray Pankhurst, who was training it last season, and it went a few good races on rain-affected tracks too last season. It's got too many guns today, wins it by a length and a half. Bob Dobolino's going to run second for Chris Johnson, and they're about 3 or 4 lengths in front of the other Williams runner, second edition, number 15, that'll get into third for David Wadley and really crank up the trifecta dividend, paying well into double figures for a place. That just ahead of Ocean Warrior, number 11, the horse in the blinkers, that looked to be travelling well coming around the corner. Certainly negotiated the Wingatui Bend today better than it did at Oamaru last week, and is boxed on nicely for fourth money. Ron McCann, I think he's only got a couple of rides down here today, so he'll be happy. He was the chauffeur for most of the Canterbury jockeys in the car driving down early this morning, so he might not be driving on the way back. He rides number 14 Regal Star to victory in race 2, a 3-year-old gelding by Vice Regal from Yanshep, I think it is, raced by BM and MR Cunahan, or Cunahan it is, and Ray Pankhurst, who since giving up training has handed the horse over to Dawn and Peter Williams at Ashburton, and they've done the trick. The 7th start today, number 14 Regal Star wins race 3. Bob Dobolino second, the second favourite. Chris Johnson kicking along down the straight, but had no answer when Regal Star popped it through along the fence for Ron McCann, and coming out of the ruck, second edition at odds of about $13 for the place to make up the trifecta for David Wadley, just ahead of Ocean Warrior, who I think was pretty well in front, turning for home. Judges' call coming through, 14-1. 15, 14, 1 and 15, no photos required. Regal Star comes back at the head of the field with Ron McCann. Should have the result shortly.
Mark from Washworld, offering our first franchise site here at Te Rapa Strait, Hamilton. This site will offer 8 self-service car washing bays for all types of vehicles, 24 hours a day. Call us on 0800 833 600 for more details.
We're the people. the people who care.
Break down the left, and Peter Hoekstra is there to finish it off. RKC 0, PSV Eindhoven 1. And 9 minutes later, PSV get their second goal. Zenden again involved. And in the end, it's Arthur Newman, the captain, who can put it in. For Newman, his 8th goal of the season. RKC 0, PSV Eindhoven 2. And 10 minutes later, another goal for PSV. It's the long ball forward, and who else but Ronaldo? Out sprinting the defence, taking it past the goalkeeper. Goal number 28 of the season for the 18-year-old Brazilian, who tops the goal-scoring charts in Holland. RKC 0, PSV 3. Into the second half, RKC pull a goal back. Schroeder with the free kick, and Valderus completely beaten. RKC 1, PSV Eindhoven 3. 9 minutes from the end, another goal for RKC. It started with a move that initiated with their goalkeeper. It's played through, and in the end, Petrov. And slide it past the goalkeeper. Still a chance for RKC to pick up at least a point from this game. But a minute from the end, it's PSV with Ronaldo crossing and Wouters and then Teleskins. And that put the icing on the cake for PSV. A final scoreline of RKC 2, PSV Eindhoven 4. So that win ensures that PSV will be in Europe next season, along with the runners-up Roda, who were held to a 3-3 draw by cup finalists Volendam. FC20 continued their dismal form, beaten by Vitesse. Look at the Dutch league standings. There's still one more round of matches to go. Ajax, the league champions, confirmed last week. Roda will finish second, and PSV Eindhoven guaranteed now third spot.
Hang in there, soccer fans. We've got highlights of the European Cup final between AFC Ajax and AC Milan coming up shortly. But next, it's the feature race today here at Wingatui, the Stan Mackay Memorial New Zealand Jumpers Association Steeples, and with Burlington Air Express, the win movers number 2, Diablo 2, an impressive winner on its Steeples debut at Riverton back in April, opened up at $6.70 and has a host of support now into $4.05. It's not threatening the favourite, which is Feldo on that list, drifting slightly third digit after opening up second favourite at $4.45. Feldo still the favourite at $2.60. Jack's 11 out a couple of dollars to $9.50, coming in from 39s to 30. Rivertown Dude number 7 and number 8 Strike Flight opened at $13.10 and has come in slightly to $11.95. Debbie Henderson rides Feldo. As I mentioned earlier, chatting to her on Tuesday at track work here at Wingatui, she thought that Feldo could be her best ride over the entire meeting, and that probably includes Noble Express and the Otago Steeples on Monday. She rides the favourite at $2.60, $1.45. 2 Diablo 2, Peter Kennedy at $4.05 and $2.05. Killalow. Terry Kennedy jumps off Feldo to ride Killalow for his old man, Mouse Kennedy, and he's at almost 10 to 1. Ben Be Cool and Jamie Bates having his first ride race day over the steeples today as well, 11.60 and 2.15. That's number 5. Jack's 11, Michael Mine riding that, claiming 3 kilos at 9.50 and 2.10. Ricky Donnelly on Rivertown Dude at 30s and 5.75. Danny Crozier rides number 8 Strike Flight, 11.95 and 3.50. And Shane Anderton, who rode the winner of the hurdle race earlier today, Apollo Barney, rides his stable runner, third digit at 6.05 and $1.65 for the place. Winding up the field, number 11 User Pays, and Doug Shaw riding that, 39 the win, 7.75 for the place, 3,200 metres and a flag start ahead. Taylor Strong has gone with the favourite, number 1 Feldo, a very impressive winner at Riccarton 2 or 3 weeks back, and is looking in pretty good form for this. Is the warm favourite Feldo. Horses over there at the 3,200 metre start. The Debbie Draft Racing Service will take a pretty close look at these fairly shortly. But let's have a look at the 2 horses that are dominating the betting and their previous 2 wins. Feldo first at Riccarton and then Diablo 2 at Riverton.
Danny Riley, they're all in it. There's only 4 lengths covering them all, so anyone can still win as they come round the turn. Now the jocks are going for the winning post. They've got 1 fence left. The whips are cracking. 450 metres to go. And Faldo still in front. Noble Express going for an inside run. Peridot, Danny Riley's coming into it, and King's Son at the last now. Faldo over first, jumps it well, or Peridot slewed a bit, just lost his momentum. Danny Riley starting to come, and Noble Express. Faldo at the distance post now, trying to hold out to the wire. Noble Express is running home well, and Peridot. That's Faldo at the moment. Peridot and Noble Express, but Faldo's holding his. Peridot drawing him in, but Faldo's going pretty well, and Faldo's easing down. He's won it by 2 lengths. Second home Peridot, the Grand National winner Noble Express third. Then Danny Riley and King's Son about 5 lengths away.
It's about 5 lengths away, and these are the only 4 with chances. They work towards the next brush, and it's huge. At it, over they go. The first 4, they're over well. Arctic Destroyer, 600 to go. Being joined by Faldo, but Diablo 2's ducked through on the inside of both those and put 2 lengths on them, racing up past the 500 metres. It's round the turn, Diablo 2. About 3 in front. Coming after it now is Arctic Destroyer, Faldo, Ben Be Cool. The rest are headed by Strike Flight, just making the turn. But it's Diablo 2 going pretty well. Coming down towards the 200-metre mark, there's 1 to go, and it's 3 lengths in front of Arctic Destroyer and Faldo. At the last, Diablo 2 over safely, hits the ground first, only by 2 lengths, though Arctic Destroyer's coming after him, but he's got them covered. Down towards the post they go, Diablo 2, home first, about 3.5 on Arctic Destroyer. Faldo is third.
So there is a pretty good argument for both those top weights, or number 1 Faldo and 2 Diablo 2. Faldo and Canberra Shot here with the checkers, beating quite comfortably, arguably the 2 best steeplechasers in the Wingatui area. Well, you couldn't argue much because they quinelled at the Grand National last season. Noble Express and the other horse, Peridot. And the Diablo 2, of course, we just saw there at Riverton, beat Faldo quite comfortably back on April 17th. So there's an argument for both of them. The favourite is Faldo. As they start to get organised over there. No starting gates here because it's a flag start for the feature jumping event today. The Stan Mackay Memorial Steeples over 3,200 metres. Faldo still the favourite at $2.20 and $1.50. Looks set for a big jump season ahead. Faldo from the Parsons stable at Belcairn, and that was Diablo 2's debut over the steeples at Riverton. We saw him was a very good winner of the event. In fact, just quickly looking down the leaderboards for the New Zealand Jumping Association Novice Series. Head of the jockeys is Paul Hillis on 8 points, ahead of Eddie Lamb, and then on 5, Julie Archer, Craig Clifton, Leanne Elliott and Terry Kennedy. The steeplechasers Hidden Asset is on top there with 7 points. Diablo 2, Just Red and Nicholas James second on 6 points. Looks like they're about to go. We'll join Kevin Payne for his call, race 4.
And the field are let go in the chase. And working their way down towards the first fence on the journey, we've got Ben Be Cool and Strike Flight and Killer Low. They go approach the first. At it now, over they go. A beautiful jump, Faldo, and that took it right up into third placing. From Strike Flight now 4th, then third digit back on the inside. 2.5 lengths further away is Jack's 11. On its outside is User Pays. About 2 lengths back to 2 to 3 lengths away, Diablo 2, and 4 to Rivertown Dude, who's last of all. Strike Flight leads them off the far side now, about to bring them back onto the course proper, with Ben Be Cool going through on its inside. Then Faldo line third from Jack's 11 on the inside. The one to bring them back onto the course proper. And Ben Be Cool, he had a good look at it too. But Faldo's levelled up with his good jump in. He levelled up on the outside to grab the lead now for Debbie Henderson. From Ben Be Cool and Strike Flight with his white blaze on the outside. Killer Low and third digit and behind those. Rivertown Dude is tacked onto them. Then User Pays followed back on the inside. Jack's 11 and Diablo 2, 3 off the lead. At the first of the double, over they stream. They're all still on their feet. They go to the second. Faldo, he went through that one just a little, not his best jump. But he leads by about a head only. From Ben Be Cool taking it on the inside. Then came Strike Flight. Third digit on its inside next from Killer Low. Then on the outside, Rivertown Dude midfield. Just in behind that runner next was User Pays, followed on the outside, Diablo 2. And Jack's 11 is last of all. Working out to the sod wall now. And Ben Be Cool and Faldo, they took it together. From then third digit line third is followed back then by Strike Flight on the outside, Rivertown Dude, Killer Low just ahead of that. Then came on the inside, User Pays from Diablo 2. And 2 to 3 lengths further away is Jack's 11 at the tail of the field. Working their way to the next fence, and Third Digit got through on the inside of Feldo, who out-jumped him once again. So Feldo in front by a length now from Third Digit. Then a length away to Ben Be Cool, is followed 2 lengths further away on the outside Strike Flight. With on the inside of it is Killer Low. Then 2 to Rivertown Dude, 2 to User Pays. At the next over they stream. User Pays was followed over by Diablo 2, and Jack's 11 is last of all. 1,500 metres out from home now as they work their way into the bag. And the leader, next fence is looming up. Now there's Killer Low that's fallen on the flat. And I don't know what happened there, but Killer Low's fallen on the flat. And now there's the first casualty over the fences, and Ben Be Cool's tossed its rider. So just having a look back, Terry Kennedy to his feet, and Killer Low appears to be quite okay as well. They work their way down the far side now. Looking at that other runner, Ben Be Cool, the rider getting to his feet, and that horse appears to be quite okay as well. So they've gone over the next, and there's the next casualty, and Rivertown Dude's lost its rider. So over the next fence they go, and Jack's 11 jumping it very slowly at the tail of the field. The leader is Third Digit in a chapter of events from at the 1,000 metre mark. Third Digit's a half length to spare over Feldo. Then followed 2 lengths away to Diablo 2's become prominent with Strike Flight on its outside, and this quartet have got it to themselves. 2 riderless horses who appear to be quite okay as the leaders go towards the next fence. Up and over they stream. A beautiful jump, Diablo 2. Just going over that fence was User Pays, and Jack's 11, he doesn't want to go over it, but he will, and he got over it just. So working their way down towards the 700 or 800 metre mark now. It's Feldo by about a head only from Third Digit the inside. About 6 to Diablo 2 and Strike Flight, the only runners in it. At the next fence, over they stream. The leading 4 got over it safely enough, and the next runner is User Pays. It goes to it now, and Jack's 11. He'll be trying desperately to get over that fence. He slows right up at it and crawls over it. Then found the water and didn't like that. Working their way up towards the last fence now as they turn the corner. Third Digit the inside has got the measure of Feldo, who probably will out-jump him as they come towards the last fence now. They're 10 in front of Diablo 2. And Third Digit, yeah, Feldo out-jumped in the outside, took the lead back again. A great chase this. And it's Feldo. Debbie Henderson looks over her shoulder, and she's got a length on Third Digit, who's coming back again on the inside. Feldo and Third Digit, hard at it, the pair of them. Feldo with his nose in front. Third Digit's coming back on the inside. Third Digit and Feldo. Feldo and Third Digit. Third Digit with his pace on the flat. Third Digit gets the money. Second over Feldo, only a neck away. Then about 15 lengths further away we had Diablo 2's run third. About 20 lengths further back to Strike Flight is followed back by User Pays. And Jack's 11 has completed the course and come home at the tail of the field. The other horses and riders appear to be quite okay.
So plenty of drama in the Stan Mackay Memorial Steeples over 3,200 metres, but it's going to be an Anderton double in the jumps races today. Number 10, Third Digit, just too many guns on the flat. Had a couple of kilos to spare on the weight differential. And all the jumping done as we get the auto check replay with Debbie Henderson on the outside, hard at work on Feldo, the favourite, and Third Digit, who opened up the second favourite, just having the edge inside the last 200 metres on the flat. Shane Anderton going for the double, just the whip over the shoulder, and he's got the advantage here with 100 metres to go and is going to kick out and win it. Feldo came back again in the last 50 to push him to probably about a neck, but Third Digit wins at number 10, having his second start only over the steeples. His last start was 4th at Oamaru last week behind Tornote, and wins it probably half a length in the end from Feldo, and they were plenty clear of the third horse, Diablo 2. This is the water jump over there by the 700 metres, and the first two flew it. Diablo 2 was the third one over, and I think that was about it. The fourth one, Strike Flight, finished 4th, and Jack's 11, I think, has only just jumped it now. He was jumping pretty slowly at the back of the field. The steeplechase course might have been just a wee bit slippery today, because I noticed Ben Be Cool going into the back straight after jumping the sod wall, just about fell over on the flat. And of course during the race we had one horse that did fall over on the flat. What was that? It was, might have been Rivertown Dude, or he might have thrown a... It was Killer Low, in fact. Killer Low, the stablemate of Diablo 2, went on the flat and left Terry Kennedy on the deck. So drama on the flat and also over the hurdles. A couple of others lost their riders, but the job well done by the Anderton runner, number 10, Third Digit. He's a 7-year-old by Torfik from Digit, AM and CL Reagan. The owners, Brian and Shane Anderton, the trainers. Shane Anderton gets a double in the jumps races, having already won on Apollo Barney in the first event today, and Third Digit upsets the favourite Feldo in the steeple event. And just having a look at what Third Digit was paying in the end. It was the third favourite at $7.30 and $2.15, but did open up at just over the $4 mark. So there was some serious local money around number 10, Third Digit, in the Stan Mackay Memorial Steeples, and we'll have the results shortly here on Trackside Thursday.
Buy any type of used vehicle privately or from any unlicensed dealer without checking it out with AutoCheck, and you could lose your money and the vehicle. If someone else still owes money on the vehicle, it could be repossessed, and there's no guarantee you'll get your money back. So it pays to check it out with AutoCheck.
Hello, AutoCheck.
Call AutoCheck and make a quick free check before you say goodbye to your money.
Registration and chassis number, please.
The AutoCheck office is open 7 days a week from 9 a.m.
Come racing at Alexandra Park this Friday for the Auckland Trotting Club's Queen's Birthday meeting. The feature event is the $15,000 Faster Trotters Cup. Be in with a chance to win a $500 spot prize. Plus, you can still be in to win a Hyundai Accent car in the Best Bets promotion. Get down to Alexandra Park this Friday night for night entertainment you can bet on. First race, 6:20. The Gallops Pick 6 gives you a shot at some big money on Saturday. This week there's $50,000 to be won. Use your skill to pick the 6 winners or play the easy way with a Pick 6 easy bet. Either way, the big money could be yours.
When your office printing requirements never quite come together as expected, your business image starts to fall apart. You're left drowning in a sea of paper. There is a solution. In the printing of business forms and the supply of everyday office items, one company stands out. Wycliffe Press, unrivaled for business printing, service and delivery. Wycliffe Press.
So third digit, and jockey Shane Anderton score maximum points and jump up the leaderboard on the New Zealand Jumpers Association novice steeplechase table by winning the Stan Mackay Memorial Steeples over 3,200 metres here at Otago today. And 7:30 and 2:15, a drifter on the market after early money. One Faldo gains more points as well, $1.50 for second, and Diablo 2 grabs, I think, 3 points for finishing third at $1.35, and that could be enough to take him just ahead of Hidden Asset on the leaderboard in the steeplechase section anyway. Quinella 1 and 10 was $8.70, and the trifecta on race 4, 10 with 1 with 2, 61.65. All horses and riders okay, the ones that fell in that previous event. One on the flat and a couple over the hurdles. Moving on to race 5 at 1:45 here on Trackside Thursday. This is the Weatherall Jewelers Maiden, and number 1 is Chatham Century. Jamie Bates now riding with Jamie Gillies off to hospital after an early spill in the hurdles race. 13.10 and $4.60. And somehow I don't think Jamie Bates actually claims 3 kilos on the flat anymore. He's not even an apprentice. Number 2, 5-Star Pete. Paul Richards, 3.30 and $1.60. The Andertons on a roll here at Otago today. Fun Seeker number 3, Stephen Edhouse, claiming 2 kilos at 11.25 and 3.40. 4, Just an Image. Bronwyn Matheson, 11.40 and 3.05. And number 5, King Louis and Stephen Ramsey at 23s and 7.40 for the place. Go down to number 6, Lennox and David Wadley, 14.25 the win, 4.95 the place. Let's Chance It and Ray Bruce, number 7, 12.30 and $4. Peel Creek, Maria Ritchie at 24.15 and 7.25. 9, Red Prince, Michael Mine at 19.30 and 5.15. And Sharazad, Chris Johnson at 11.50 the win and $5.20 for the place. 11, Sound Val, Chris Bain at 10.15 and $3.40. And number 12, Tralee, 4.85 the win and $1.15 the place. Debbie Kennedy takes the ride. So 1:45 start time for race 5 here at Wingatui. We were just waiting for this cloud cover to make way for a bit of sun because it's cooling down just a wee bit. That southerly breeze has kicked in. Fingers crossed we won't get any rain before the end of the day. And our next live race, a 2,200 metre flat race, another even affair. We'll be back with coverage of the runners in that event after our next bit of sporting coverage, which is good news more for Seoul, more good news for soccer fans. Highlights of the European Cup final.
And across the border in Germany, Werder Bremen went on a goal-scoring spree with Egyptian international Hani Ramsey scoring the first after just 6 minutes. Borussia Dortmund, without an away win since February, dropped a point at Freiburg, who seems set to clinch a UEFA Cup spot, as do Borussia Mönchengladbach, 2-0 winners over Eintracht Frankfurt. Duisburg overcome Kaiserslautern 3-2. Defending champions Bayern Munich have now lost all hope of retaining their title.
So our two scribes, Taylor Strong and Pat McCord, like number 2 Game King. So the punters at $3.05 and $1.45 with our DB Draft Racing service over to the start as they start to load away at the 1600 metre mark for the Apprentice Riders race today, the Salisbury Park Handicap. And there is the favourite, number 2 Game King. Has form on all sorts of tracks, Game King, but doesn't mind the soft track. 4 starts for 2 placings. And the form here is, or for him, is way better than most in this event. And Nicola Bat is going for a double, having ridden race around to an impressive victory in the previous race and has every chance of doing so. 57 kilos comes down to 54 with her 3 kilo claim. $3.05 and $1.45 the latest market for number 2 Game King. Hard to see him out of the money. In fact, pretty hard to see him beaten. 4 Game of Chance over the back there. Brian Anderton quite liked or was expecting Noble Story to go a good race, having finished second on this track back on the 25th of April. Stephen Edhouse riding him. Iona Roman is a local runner that's been performing pretty well around the track work scene recently. He's had a couple of starts this time in and improving all the time, so if you want to crank up the trifecta a bit, perhaps number 6 Iona Roman, being ridden by Dan Submaranium, claiming 4.5 kilos. They're loaded away for the 8th event, second of the treble, remember. Let's join Kevin Payne for his call on the Salisbury Park Handicap.
Just ahead of Noble Story at 440 and 160 as they race now. And fairly good dispatch it was too. Getting back in the quartered cap was High Step. It got back towards the tail of the field early on, and getting back there with that. On the inside we've got Just Lulu. And leading them out on the outside now goes Game King by about a head only. Iona Roman right there, so too Ladies Imp on the inside. Then followed in that group also as they work their way down the far side, the next runner Magnolia Blues. Magnolia Blues is followed on the outside of it to Pound Eva. Then came Game of Chance back on the inside next. Just in front of that was Nobilo. It was followed around the outside 3 wide then by Just Lulu. That was followed back towards the tail of the field next then by Noble Story, who was second to last on the outside of it. Mazeppa, and last of all is High Step. Down to the end of the back they go. Ladies Imp shows the way by a head only from Game King on the outside. On the inside next then we've got Magnolia Blues is followed on the outside. Nobilo going forward between the 2 Iona Roman. Then Pound Eva from Just Lulu. Then came Game of Chance the inside. High Step is taking off around the outside of those. That's followed back then by Noble Story, and last of all is Mazeppa. 6 lengths first to last. They climb the rise now, and the leader is Game King on the inside of Nobilo that swept up. Right in behind those Ladies Imp. Making ground on the outside is Just Lulu. Mazeppa sweeping into it also. Then came Iona Roman, followed back by High Step. They turn the corner now. And on the outside, Just Lulu made the lead from on the inside. Game King right there. Then came down the outside Mazeppa with a runner. The leader is Just Lulu from Mazeppa on the outside. Then Game King whacking away still as High Step, and coming home well Noble Story. But the leader is Just Lulu. Just Lulu has cleared away from Mazeppa, and Just Lulu gets the money about a length at the line from Mazeppa. Third at the line next then as they went across was Noble Story. It was followed back by High Step, and then came on the outside of those runners next then was Game King. It was followed 2 sets of stablemates in the first 4. That was followed back by Nobilo. Then came Pound Eva, Magnolia Blues, Ladies Imp, Game of Chance, and Iona Roman back towards the tail of the field.
The outsider of the field, number 12 Just Lulu, 5-year-old mare by the champion sprinter Mr. Illusion, has well turned them upside down at 45.65 and 10.65 looking at the teletext. And as we look at the auto check replay, Joanne Collis has kicked the horse clear. The only challenge coming wide on the track, and it's not really a challenge for first anyway, it's running into second Mazeppa and Kirsten Grant, and the Anderton runners are behind those. High Step along the fence, and coming out of the ruck there to run third will be Noble Story, who did go a nice race, was a wee bit far off them coming around the corner, but down to hands and heels for Joanne Collis, and Just Lulu number 12 wins it by 3/4 of a length. Kirsten Grant backing up her win earlier in the day with a fairly close second on Mazeppa for Cliff Rees-Jones, and a couple of links back in third money, number 3 Noble Story and Stephen Edhouse, just ahead of the stablemate High Step and Rosati Arnie. And Game King, the favourite, was in front coming around the corner, will end up 5th, but was under the bat just prior to turning for home, and looked from there that Nicola Bat under the bat from Nicola Bat wasn't going to ride her double. So the punters shocked a wee bit with Game King out of the money, and this horse number 12 Just Lulu, a stablemate of the favourite, gets up and wins it instead at 45-1. 5-year-old mare Mr. Illusion just a chance. R.D. Hampton the owner, Jack Gordon, the trainer at Ascot Park, and Joanne Collis, the winning rider in the Apprentice Riders race, and that'll make the treble interesting, at least with one leg to go on race number 9. Rain's just stalled off a wee bit after even looking at that camera shot. It's just stopped for a wee while. It's still fairly cool, but the Apprentice Riders coming back to the birdcage, and we should have a result for race 8 shortly.